I've said this many times before, but one of the things I love the most about the new direction for the God of War series is Santa Monica's commitment to filling their games with story secrets for fans to uncover. This has resulted in many YouTube channels dedicating themselves to finding these secrets and theorizing about them. A few months back, I thought I had found everything that needed to be found in the God of War Ragnarok trailer, but it turns out that I missed one little detail that might have a huge impact in the series. The reason I say this is because this little detail might be related to another pantheon entirely.
That's from a great desert land, very far from here.
Do gods live there?
Oh my, yes. Many, many gods.
Good or bad?
And not as simple as that, I'm afraid.
Hey, how's it going guys? Kaptain Kuba here, and today I'm gonna be talking about this mysterious mural found during the moment Kratos is fighting some light elves in the trailer. The reason I say this mural is mysterious is because it doesn't look like any of the murals nor triptychs we saw in God of War 2018. If you ask me, this looks more like a caveman drawing, and they depict what seems to be flying fish of some kind. Something we haven't seen in the Norse pantheon yet. Now fans have deduced that the location of this shot is in Alfheim, given that Kratos and Atreus seem to be fighting light elves. But the environment itself looks nothing like the Alfheim we've seen before. Instead it looks like Egypt or somewhere in the Middle East. First of all, there doesn't seem to be much vegetation, or at least very little of it, as opposed to Alfheim, which is covered with elven-looking trees always pointing in the direction of the light of Alfheim. The terrain is dry and has an orange hue mostly seen in Middle Eastern countries, not Scandinavia. The pillars don't look like the ones in Alfheim either. In fact, they seem to have Sanskrit writing on them, and they're even carved out of the mountain just like the Petra temple in Jordan. And now on top of that, we have to deal with this mural that doesn't look like any of the Norse ones we've seen before. Now the really interesting thing here is that after this shot in the trailer, we see another shot of Kratos fighting a light elf. And in this shot, there's no doubt in my mind that this is Alfheim. The vegetation, architecture, and environment looks consistent with what we've already seen in Alfheim. It's almost like Santa Monica placed these two shots back to back so we would see the difference between them. So what's the theory then? Why does this place look so different from Alfheim? Well, for this question, I have two competing theories. In the past, I would have simply given you the craziest theory and called it a day, but I have grown as a YouTuber. This is why I want to start this video from the most calm and reasonable theory and move on to the least likely theory. Once the video is done, make sure to let me know which theory you like the most. Now, today I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm going to let the person who discovered this mural give his two theories before I share my thoughts on it. So without further ado, give it up for God of War Geek's calm and reasonable theory.
Hello everyone. Of course I would like to start by saying a big thank you to Kaptain Kuba for having me on his channel. I'm grateful that I can share my find and my theories on it with all of you. I've had plenty of time to think about it, and I think I have two decent ideas as to what these fish-like creatures could be. One theory I had was that this drawing could be how they see the souls moving toward the light, or maybe while the light elves are in control of the light, the souls may actually take on a form of this fish, which is why they all look the same. My second and last theory is that the light can transform, evolve creatures, and that this drawing is part of the story of how the light elves or Lindworm came to be. I know it's pretty crazy, but we are talking about a mythological setting with all kinds of magic and other crazy things. If you take a look at this scroll, the things that stand out to me is from the light we are born, transforming us. So I wondered if they meant it literally. Then we have this picture here. It states the design is to show how a creature moved toward the temple. Although they are most likely talking about the Lindworm in this case, I think it's fair to say that everything in this realm tries to move as close as it can toward the temple where the light is. From the trees to elves, you name it. So that should include these fish. I mean, this creature has to be of some importance to draw it. You're probably wondering, how would these fish even reach the light? Well, the half-baked answer I could use is they have these sewers, these tunnels pouring water deep underground. How deep does the light even go? So it is possible they reach the light that way, but a much better answer is in this picture. As you can see, they talked as if the light of Alfheim was always there, but clearly the temple wasn't, which means getting to the light was a much more attainable goal. So using this in relation to the elves first, although they are wrong, I can understand why the light elves may feel superior and the rightful owners of the light, being born from it. In relation to the Lindworm, I can compare it to the Chinese waterfall legend where a golden koi managed to climb a waterfall, catching the attention of the gods. Recognizing its determination and perseverance, the koi was transformed into a golden dragon. I feel that Alfheim has a somewhat oriental feel in areas, which is why I think there could be some truth to my theories. The reason I say this is because there are what appear to be a lot of cherry blossom trees, pinkish leaves sprinkling around, giving the realm a beautiful and tranquil look. And if this dragon-like figure is the lindworm, then it has that long windy body like Shenron from Dragon Ball series. As well as some of the light elves seem to be using katanas, or dao as I believe they are called in China. So this realm could have a mixture of Japanese and Chinese mythology, similar to how Charlie is a nod to Aztec myth. But anyway, that's all I have. Once again, thank you Captain Kuba for letting me share my theories on your channel. Hope you all enjoyed my theories. Take care.
Alright, God of War Geek, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, man. But let's put aside the calm and reasonable theories and get a little crazier. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. When analyzing the fish in the mural, we see what seems to be 3 prongs coming out of their backs. Now the closest animal I found that looks like these drawings are Egyptian fish statues, 2 horns and the sun symbol in the center. The name for these fish is, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. In Egyptian mythology, these fish were responsible for eating Osiris' ding-dong after his brothers said dismember his body and scattered the remains in the water. Let me just say that Egyptian mythology is going to be a lot of fun to research whenever this series goes there. Now, aside from this fish mural, we also see that the pillar in the shot seems to be inspired by the Petra temple in Jordan, which is located quite far from Scandinavia. So how is it that we find drawings and architectures found in other pantheons? For this question, I want you to pay close attention to what Cory Barlog said in an interview with Kinda Funny Games.
There was connections, and whether or not this is legit or if it is literally just somebody expanding on the stories, that there was connections between Roman gods and Norse gods, right? Even a small connection between that shows that, all right, you know, precursor to the Viking era where they were sailing all everywhere was potentially the gods and the monsters actually connecting to other geographic locations. So,
did you hear what he said? In the myths, there's evidence of interactions with Roman gods and Norse gods.
That there was connections between Roman gods and Norse gods.
I'm not exactly sure what story from Norse mythology is he referring to when he says that Norse gods interacted with Roman gods. But there is one thing I'm sure of. Cory's excitement when he talks about this concept of pantheons interacting with each other. Which makes me think he has integrated this idea into the God of War series as well. This idea is also one that many fans have already embraced. A popular fan theory in the God of War community is that after Kratos moved from Greece, the remaining Greek gods did the same and formed what we now consider the Roman pantheon, a pantheon whose gods are very similar to those of the Greeks. This is yet to be confirmed, so if you want a more concrete example, just remember that Kratos has already interacted with other pantheons. Not only did he visit Egypt and fought a few of his monsters, but he then moved on to Scandinavia and became the father of one of the most important characters of Norse mythology. So the question is not whether other pantheons have interacted with each other. The real question is, how much have they done so? Maybe this mural depicting Egyptian fish is more evidence of a time in the God of War universe in which pantheons interacted with each other a lot more. Maybe many centuries ago, an Egyptian population lived or visited the lands of the elves, and their paintings and architecture still remain there. So what do you think about this theory of pantheons interacting with each other? Is it possible? Is this mural evidence for this theory? Make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And now, let me get to the real crazy theory. In fact, it's not a theory as much as it is an idea. I personally think it would be really cool if in the next game, there's a section that lasts about 10 minutes where Kratos and Atreus jump through different pantheons. This is an idea one of my members shared with me in one of my podcasts with the community, and ever since I heard it, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. The idea is that Ragnarok is such a turbulent event in the Norse pantheon that the world itself will be strained, and this will result in many portals opening to other pantheons. Something very similar to the mechanic in BioShock Infinite.
What did you do? Close it! Close it!
Trying!
Close it now!
Think about Kratos having to chase Thor because he has just kidnapped Atreus. During the chase, the world will become too unstable and massive portals to other pantheons will begin to open. Kratos, Atreus, and Thor, as well as other Norse enemies, accidentally enter them without knowing what's going on, meaning that they would be momentarily invading other pantheons. This could explain why the environment looks so foreign to the Norse pantheon. Maybe this small section in the trailer is a moment in the game in which Kratos and Atreus accidentally enter Egypt, or a pantheon from the Middle East. After this, they could accidentally enter the Aztec pantheon, the Japanese, Celtic, and many others. I think this would be an amazing way for Santa Monica Studios to introduce other pantheons after Ragnarok ends, because the infamous Ghost of Sparta momentarily entering another pantheon is something the gods of those lands will take note of. Think about it. Freya and Mimir know what Kratos did in the Greek pantheon. Chances are other gods know of his reputation as well, and if they see him causing havoc in their pantheons, they might feel threatened and begin to prepare for war against the Ghost of Sparta, leading to the next chapter in the God of War series. But once again, this is not really a theory, it's just an idea I think would work to introduce other pantheons into the series. At the end of the day, the mystery behind the mural and the odd looking architecture, it's something that won't be answered for certain until the game comes out. But in the meantime, make sure to let me know which theory you like the most. Do you think these fish represent the souls of the Lake of Nine? Could this be an ancient Egyptian settlement in Alfheim from a time when pantheons used to interact with each other? Or could this actually be another pantheon that Kratos and Atreus have momentarily entered? If you don't like any of these theories, make sure to share yours in the comment section below. I want to give a big thanks to God of War Geek for sharing this awesome discovery with me. Make sure to check out his channel at the end of the video. As always, I want to give a big thanks to all of my members for sponsoring this video. People like Ahmed Sharway, Eko Sandvik, and Matt Sanders, to name a few, are a big reason I don't feel the need to interrupt my videos with a sponsor mention. And for viewers as well as myself, I don't think it could get any better than that. So once again, thank you guys so much for your support. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. This helps the channel more than you think. I really couldn't do any of these videos without your support. And with that said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more God of War content, such as theories and lore videos. And remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.